Okay, so we're still talking about the value chain of you are stronger than your problems, you are more important than your problems. And now we are on to the second step of the value chain. And this is probably going to be the most drastic, but I think we need to cover this early on so that we can eliminate this as an option and then proceed to the rest of the list. Your problems are not going to end you. Your problems are not going to end you. You may want to end yourself. It happens. You may think your problems are going to end you. It happens. Outside of a some severe trauma, like physical trauma, like I got a 2x4 ripped right through me and my heart's sitting on the table. Outside of some severe physiological damage, your problems are not going to end you. And you don't have to end yourself about them. Okay? Your problems are not going to end you, and you don't have to end yourself. You don't have to delete yourself. You don't have to unalive yourself. You don't have to. You may want to, but you don't have to. And you're going to say, well, Jonathan, you know what? I'm at that point right now where I do want to delete myself. I do want to unalive myself. I hope I don't wake up tomorrow. And you need to ask yourself a very serious question at that moment to say, why does this problem get to decide when I stop breathing? Why is this problem more powerful than me? Why have I convinced myself that there's no way for me to overcome this? That there's no way for me to adjust from this? That there's no way for me to learn from this? You have to ask yourself that question. Because when you're ready to unalive yourself and you're ready to delete yourself, you're saying this is more important than me, this is more powerful than me, I can't adjust, I can't go on, I'll never be able to find a way to make it work. I need that person, I need that job, I need that money, I need that chemical, I need that habit, I need that pet, I need that friend. Yes, it is very traumatic and god awful to lose something that important. I'm 100% in agreement with you there. But why does that have to be the end? Why? What about that situation says you must come to a full, complete stop? Why? Where does it say that? Why is your problem that important? Why is your problem that powerful? Are you convincing yourself it's that powerful? Because here's the thing about it. I know people that have had to shovel an ungodly amount of shit. And they carry on. They keep pushing. They get up every day and say, you know what? Tomorrow's another chance. Why can't you do that? What's stopping you from doing that? We as human beings make constant choices. We make a choice when to go to bed. We make a choice what to eat. We make a choice who to call. We make a choice where to go. If you can decide that this problem is completely unbearable, that I have to delete myself, You can decide that. Why can't you decide to deal with it? Why can't you decide to carry on? It's a choice. It's fundamentally a choice, guys. Choose the better option, please. Choose the better option. You might not even really see a why. You might even see a reason to choose the better option, but guys, choose the better option, okay? You don't know what good may come from your life. I don't have a crystal ball. You don't have a crystal ball. No one on this planet has a crystal ball. You don't know where your story is going to take you. You don't know who you're going to impact. You might say hello to someone at the checkout and say, hey, how's your day going? And you know what? That might have been the first time that person talked to anyone in a month. And maybe that person was about to make a bad decision. And maybe you gave them some sort of push to keep going. You might be working at your job and you're performing a very vital function. There's some value there. You might be able to say, you know what? I'm able to pay my bills and I'm able to get $10 put together every year and I'm able to donate it to a charity. There you go. There's some purpose there. There's some value. But you have to decide that. You have to find that. Because if you're going to decide that it's time to end yourself, you need to ask yourself in the most honest way possible, what if I decide to not end myself? What's the pluses and minuses? Because you can come up with reasons to end yourself, sure. If you're that weak of a person, yeah, perhaps. But you can also come up with reasons not to end yourself. And I implore you, find a reason not to end yourself. Even if it's just something as simple as, you know what? I want to be able to hand out blankets one day to the homeless. Or I want to be able to put some money together and donate it to the public library. Or maybe, I want to get something put together and I want to help walk around the neighborhood and pick up garbage. Or, I've got this one buddy, and I haven't talked to him enough. Let me start trying to talk to him. You have to find a reason not to end yourself. It's a choice. You can choose to end yourself. You can choose not to end yourself. But the problem doesn't have to force you to end yourself. The problem does not have to. And you have to believe that before we can move on to the next step. You have to believe that you do not have to end yourself to get through this problem. You may want to, and it's understandable. I've had those thoughts. I've battled with them quite a bit. But I found a reason not to act on them. I found a reason not to plan with them. And those are the reasons that I found. Now, the reasons that I had during my bachelor's are not the reasons that I have today. Those were two different set of reasons. Now, they're related in a way, but they're still two different sets of reasons. And you only need the answer you need that day. You don't need tomorrow's answer. You need today's answer. So it's okay if the answer that you have today doesn't make sense 10 years from now. That's okay. Find the answer then. But you don't have to end yourself through your problems. You don't have to. Because if you end yourself, then what you're saying is that I am unable to overcome this. I am unable to process this. I am unable to go on from this. I am unable to learn from this. It doesn't have to be the case. You have to decide it's not the case, but it doesn't have to be the case. You can absolutely decide something else. You can decide something different. You can decide to move on. You can decide to adjust. You can decide to learn. You can decide to carry on with your existence. But you have to decide that. I can't decide that for you. So, the thing about ending yourself is that there's no turning back from that. If you honestly are successful in that action, then it's over. There's never a chance to carry on. There's never a chance to grow. There's never a chance to learn. There's never a chance to do things that you enjoy. And if you say, well, I don't enjoy anything, or I don't have anyone, or okay, that might be a true statement today, but is that going to be a true statement 5 years from now? Well, if you end yourself, then yes, it will be. It doesn't have to be a bad ending, okay? It doesn't have to be a good ending, but it doesn't have to be a bad ending. You can find a way to adjust. You can find a way to get through it. But you have to believe that deleting yourself is off the table, okay? It is off the table, guys. And I mean that. It is. If you honestly are that disgusted with yourself, if you feel honestly powerless to deal with your problems, then you need to say, you know what? These are crazy thoughts I'm having. Let me figure out where they're coming from. And you might be able to follow the path backwards to where it all started. And then you might be able to take that negative experience and transform it. You might be able to transmute it into a growth experience. But if you turn yourself off, you're never going to get that chance. You're never going to get a chance to see what it could turn out to be. Wouldn't you rather see the flowers you plant bloom instead of just ripping them out of the soil and casting them to the wind? Wouldn't you rather do that? If I'm doing something, I want to see what it's going to produce. I want to see where it's going to go. Our time on this planet is basically our time on this planet is a task. And we want to see how it's going to end. We want to see where it's going to go. Our time on this planet is a journey. You want to see it to the end. All right, let's pick this up again for the next one.